Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is one of the most demanding VR simulators available today. And Pimax now offers multiple crystal variants, all very different in how they feel when flying. So today I'm comparing the Crystal Light, the Crystal Super 50 ppd, the 50 ppd Ultrawide, and the Crystal Super 57 ppd, all flown exclusively today in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So, I want to warn you, there are no benchmarks, no FPS counters or whatever, no graphs, just real cockpit experience. On my system, an RTX with an RTX 3080. So all these flights are done on the same system. I have an RTX 3080, an i7 11700K chip, and 64 GB of RAM. So this setup sits right in that, well, realistic, not very high end, but not extreme category. I don't have a 5090 and the most advanced chipset. So basically it's what most of the people have at home. So this is perfect for seeing which of these headsets actually make sense for day-to-day flying. So I'm focusing on long sessions, cockpit readability, smoothness, and immersion. And with long sessions I mean even that comes also with comfort. So can you wear the headset for a long time? So, because that is all what it's all about, flying in VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Turbo is in, full power, airspeed is alive, 50, 60, gear is up, and we are airborne. So the first headset that I will use is the Pimax Crystal Light. So the Crystal Light immediately feels like the most balanced headset of the four. So in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the image is clean, stable, and everything is pretty smooth. Oh, that's a huge chimney out there. Let's go this to the right. So I can read all the cockpit instruments. It's easy to read. Without over sharpening everything, so it looks very clean in the headset. And that's what we want, of course. So what really stands out here is the consistency. The FPS, what you get out of this headset is very good. It's like 40-45 FPS. And the comfort of this headset with the head strap out of the box is very good. You might want to have a thicker faceplate, a thicker face cushion, because otherwise you can be too close to the lenses with your eyes, and especially when you're wearing glasses or using the lens inserts, you'll need a thicker face cushion.
A quick break before we continue. I want to take a moment to say thank you both to you for supporting the channel and to Pimax for making this video possible and for letting me review these amazing headsets. As always, all opinions in this video are my own and based on my personal experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Pimax is currently running their Christmas campaign and they've added something extra for you, my viewers and watchers and subscribers. you can get an additional $80 off the Pimax Crystal Super using the code VirtuSim80, VirtuSim80, which stacks with their official promotion. And the Pimax Crystal Lite has a $40 direct discount plus an extra discount when you use my code VirtuSim. As a reminder, all links are in the description below the video, so let's continue with the review.
My verdict about the Pimax Crystal Lite. Well, if your priority is smoothness, comfort, and you don't want to tweak every little thing out of the sim and also for the headset, then the Crystal Lite delivers a very confidence-inspiring VR experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. So yeah, you don't have to tinker with a lot of settings like the Oculus debug tool or name it, all these things, virtual desktop. No, it's just Pimax Play, plug it in, and you're good to go. So yeah, that's my verdict on this headset. One more thing to mention is that the Pimax Crystal Lite, if you compare this one to the Quest 3, for example, take a Quest 3, take that price, take the price of a head strap, an Elite head strap, maybe some better sound, extra battery, a link cable, add all these costs up, and you'll be paying more than you will be paying for a Pimax Crystal Lite, which offers 2880 by 2880 resolutions, more pixels per degree, that's 35 pixels per degree for the Pimax Crystal Lite. Higher resolution, you might want to upgrade the sound to the DMAS speakers, and you get a very comfortable head strap. So yeah, I think compared to a Quest 3, if PCVR is your thing, like gaming and flight simming, then I think the Pimax Crystal Lite is the best value for money, especially if you're looking for a headset around $700 or $600-700. Right, let's go to the next headset, number 2. So, stepping up to the Crystal Super 50 ppd, it is all about cockpit detail. The increased clarity is immediately noticeable. Your glass displays, or the text, your labels, your gouges, they are sharper and more defined. Well, in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, this really benefits IFR flying and complex aircraft. Well, but what about the performance? Well, this headset has a field of view of 126 degrees. The QLED panels have a resolution of 3840 by 3840 and then 50 pixels per degree. And because of this wider field of view, if you are on a mid-range PC like I have on my 3080, well, this GPU has a lot more work to do. So to get a little bit of performance out of it, I have to reduce the render scale to like 0.55, and then use maybe quad views or and especially foveated rendering in the sim. So yeah, that's a lot of tinkering with the settings. You have to really dial in your settings and lower a little bit of your graphics settings, especially the render scale for this headset. So yeah, having this headset on a mid-range PC, well, that's comes with a cost. So it is flyable, absolutely, but you really have to dial in your settings and be prepared to lower your settings. But once tuned in, It is sharp. It feels good. But it is less forgiving than the Pimax Crystal Lite. You don't have much headroom left for your GPU and your CPU. So when you're coming into complex sceneries, it is really noticeable then. So you can get stutters because of VRAM usage, and you have less headroom. So who is this headset for? Well, it is for sim pilots who prioritize clarity and who are comfortable dialing these settings, who are who know what these settings all do. So you have to be a little bit experienced in all these settings. And basically, on a mid-range PC, I think the 50 ppd is not the way to go. It's you have to offer too much to get the performance out of this headset, and you're better off with a Crystal Lite, which will give you a much better quality image and even a sharper image than this 50 ppd headset. So yes, the field of view is wider, 126 degrees, but it comes with a cost, and I don't think you want to make that sacrifice in quality just to run this headset at his half of the render skill, basically half of it. So no, I don't think this is the way to go. But then again, it's all up to you. If you have a slightly better GPU, you might experience it a lot better than I am. Alright, let's go over to the next optical engine. Alright, now we are in the Crystal Super 50 ppd Ultrawide, as you can see here in the video, and now we move from clarity to pure immersion. So let's get this UE up in the air. Let's see if I can still do it. Alright, here we go. Alright, and this is the experience, guys. Look at this. Pure immersion. Really good. You get that sense of speed. You don't have to move your head around as much because, well, this headset will give you 140 degrees field of view. And it is just amazing. So yeah, the ultra-wide version, it transforms how Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 feels spatially. Really, it's everything. It's absolutely beautiful. And your peripheral vision is filled with the cockpit and the scenery, and making everything feel more natural. Look at this. Oh man, it makes low-level flying, especially in helicopters or in military jets, fighter jets, so much easier, more natural. So for taxi and pattern work, this low altitude VFR flying, it's very immense. But like the normal 50 ppd, even the ultra-wide, because of its wider field of view, gives a lot of strain on the GPU. So yeah, I had to lower the render scale to 0.53. That's even lower than with the 50 ppd normal one, the normal one. And using fixed foveated rendering in the sim, together with the eye tracking that the Crystal Super has, you get dynamic foveated rendering. And that's all just to get more performance out of this headset. Does it look good? It sure does. Can it look better on a higher end GPU? It sure will. So yeah, if everything aligns, your settings, your Pimax Play settings, your sim, then this is really fantastic. But yes, you're trading some headroom on your GPU or on your whole system, well, for this immersion. So who's this for? Well, people like to fly military jets, fighter jets, helicopters, like I'm doing now with the UE. Well, yeah, that is amazing to do this in this ultra-wide headset. Here we go again. So yeah, well, you will see in the video that there's a lot of distortion when I look like this. And you won't see that in the headset. So keep that in mind, that you don't see the distortion in the headset, but only in the video. Alright, and finally the Crystal Super 57 ppd. Well, this is the most interesting one. The Crystal Super 57 ppd delivers the sharpest image in this lineup. Instrument readability is exceptional, and often without the need to lean or zoom. So, what surprises many people is that despite the higher pixel density, this headset actually feels slightly easier to run than the 50 ppd version. And why is that? Well, that is because the narrower field of view. The 57 ppd comes with a field of view, a horizontal field of view around 203 degrees compared to the 126 degrees field of view of the 50 ppd. So there is simply less area to render, which gives your GPU a little bit more breathing room. And also, if you lower the FOV with the OpenXR toolkit to, let's say, 95%, you will gain some extra performance as well. So in practice, this results in a very refined, stable flying experience. You get outstanding clarity without the same performance pressure as with the wider 50 ppd. So if your focus is on cockpit readability, that you need to read all the instruments and your radios, all the placards, and also from the outside, the terrain, the sharpness of the terrain, well, then this is the most efficient high-end option for a mid-range PC. So after flying Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 extensively for all those 4 variants of the Pimax headsets, the differences are very clear. The Crystal Light is all about, well, balance, comfort, and easy to set up, and don't have to tinker with the settings. The 50 ppd is all about clarity with a wider immersion, but it's also putting more strain on the GPU. The Ultrawide is all about presence. Presence, immersion, feels natural. The wider field of view, 140 degrees, is really amazing. And well, yeah, it also puts some strain on the GPU like the normal 50 ppd. And then last but not least, the 57 ppd, and that's the one I'm wearing right now. It's all about maximum clarity with, well, surprisingly very good performance. Better than the 50 ppds. and a little bit less than the Crystal Light. So there is no universal winner. There's no one clear winner of these headsets. But there's only the headset what fits the way you fly the sim. So for most pilots who are on a RTX 3080 or similar GPU, I think the Crystal Light and the 57 PPD, well, those two makes the most sense. And that's what I'm getting out of these 4 headsets. I love the Ultrawide, but it comes with a cost. And I can fly all day with the Crystal Light and all day with the 57 PPD without any problems and having the maximum clarity and maximum performance that I can get out of my system. So if you want that wider field of view with the 50 PPD or even with the ultra wide, and that matters more to you than having some headroom on your GPU, well, then choose that one. Alright guys, so if this video helped you decide which Pimax Crystal headset fits your way of flying, consider subscribing to my channel for more focused VR flight sim content. Alright, and let me know in the comments which headset you're flying and what you'd like to see tested in the next flight simulator video. Thanks for watching, and this was Mike, VirtuSim, and see you in the next one.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.